Hey, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. And don't forget to check out my website, paradxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. Now, this is going to be about the month of July 2023, what it means for you and the world. Now, remember, all these transits depend on what dasha you are running. The time period that you are currently in will determine if these transits will affect you or not, and also your level of consciousness. So this is just a general reading, so let's go. We'll start with Mercury. Mercury will be going into Purnavasu, and that will be on July 3rd. Now, this is the same date as the full moon that will be occurring in Purvashada. It's the same date, but right after the moon. It will be combust, so it'll be very close to the sun, is what that means. This is when the ego can overtake the mind. So we have to be very careful, especially with the moon, with a lot of these aspects, that we always stay on our higher consciousness and not in our ego. Now, the sun can indicate leaders taking action without thought in order to create change, because the sun will actually be an Ardara, which can be very unpredictable sometimes and create storms, figuratively or literally. This will be in the Navamsha ruled by Aries, Mars. Here is more an emphasis on friendships, goals, group work. Now, Purnavasu, it means wealthy again. So after the renewal from the storm in Ardara, because mercurial things have been very harsh this year, advertising agencies, communication, transport, all of these things have been a little bit in detriment. Now things will be getting a lot better for a little bit for Mercury. Now on July 8th, Mercury will go into Cancer. Mercury is actually enemies with the moon. July 9th, it'll be in Pusha, nakshatra, and Pusha translates into the nourisher. This is about healing, this is about healthcare and taking care of someone. It could bring challenges to counselors and healers because there could be a lot of people with issues that need attention. People going through a lot of different things, not feeling safe in their own mind. So this is the mind versus the intuition. The logical mind wants to say something, but the intuition is telling you something else. So the mind needs to stay calm and allow for the intuition. So it's allowing the mother Kali, the Kundalini, the intuition, the higher consciousness to guide them. The mind is our greatest enemy at times. Also, treatment could take a lot longer than expected because this is ruled by Saturn. So it's about having patience as well. The people could feel restricted, but it won't last long because Mercury is not in here for very long. So on July 16th, Mercury will go into Ashlesha. Now, it's clinging on to communication, advertising, speeches may not go as planned. It could be a lot of harsh speeches. This could be by leaders as well because the sun will be in there on July 17th. So we may be inclined to ask others to speak on our behalf because we now have insecurities. We don't feel like we can speak up for ourselves, and we may feel insecure about oneself. But some, on the opposite, will be speaking for others who don't feel like they have a voice. Some may not be thinking rationally or logically, analyzing the situation because of their insecurities or their fears. Some will help others clear their fears and their anxieties. And on the highest level, this is represented by the snake, the Kundalini. This could be getting information, communication from the Kundalini, the ultimate mother, Kali, higher consciousness, higher realms. Then July 24th, Mercury will be entering Magha. And that's when Mercury enters Magha. We'll have Venus in Magha at the same time in retrograde and Mars in Leo. And Ketu will be in Chitra. I also have a video about that, which I'll be putting out. So Mars will be activated and Ketu as well because it's a ruler of Magha. So we'll have a lot of Mars Ketu energy happening at this time. So communications and command will increase by leaders. Some relationships on the throne will be reviewed. So leaders in all types of authority positions. Some of these revisions will be due to ego clashes and relationships that had false intentions. or illusions surrounding them. Maybe you found out the truth about something, that they weren't what we thought they were. Some of the leaders could be exposed for concealing information because of its aspect onto Saturn. This could have to do with health as well. Past relationships could come back. That could be spiritual or soulmates from the past karmic relationships. And a lot of research will be done on ancestors and finding new links to these things. It's great for the occult, great for spirituality, and new spiritual guides will emerge, and some from past lives. And some actually could be exposed. Now, Mars will be directly opposing Saturn. We've observed a lot of tragedies as when Mars was aspecting Saturn by the 8th aspect, which is death. We had the train derailment in India, the submarine incident, and huge crash in Manitoba, and many other things. This will actually increase because now we have a direct aspect. This could have to do with leaders and the population. This could be trains. This could be anything going high speed travel, things of that nature, especially around the full moon. So just be cautious of that because Saturn is karma. Some will be exposed, some leaders exposed to the public, and there'll be anger and violence. On June 30th, Mars will be entering Magha until July 22nd. In Magha is where we find the I, our identity, what we are and what we identify with. So now Mars can work again for the king. Mars is the general that works for the king. So now it feels in a better position. So anybody who has Mars, high energy of Mars, like very strong Mars, we're probably feeling a little bit tired or feeling, out of energy, not having that drive. Well, now you're going to get that drive again and you're going to go after what you want to go after for all your accomplishments, all your goals. Magha, it denotes everything that you've been inherited. That's from your genes, your roots, your property, wealth, knowledge, status, everything that you inherited through your parents, your ancestors. So now it's time to put all these things into action. On the 22nd, Mars goes into Purva Falguni, and it's all about relaxation here. This is the relaxation after you won the war in Magha. So now it's time to kind of relax and celebrate. Mars doesn't like to relax too much, so better to put Mars to work and to a creative pursuit, to also for financial goals, to go for those things. Be careful of pride, jealousy, especially with the aspect of Saturn. Don't get into any kind of fights or anything like that. Be careful of your ego. And this can come up with relationships because Venus will be there as well. And it will turn retrograde that day. And this could break things off in relationships as well due to these things, because Mars can be very dominating, but also others can use this for passion, attraction to that relationship that you ultimately wanted and the partner they're meant to be with. So it's all how you use the energy. So Venus will be retrograde July 22nd until September 3rd. And we're going to talk about how it's going to be retrograde in Leo for this month. It'll be in Leo until August 6th. Then it'll retrograde back into Cancer. On July 6th, it'll be in Magha. And so that's royalty power, and that's about status and honor. Venus here represents celebrities, people in high authority positions. It could also be people with huge egos. So there could be a rise of ego clashes among these types of people. Some could be seen as selfish, egotistical, but it'll also bring out a service to others with knowledge from the ancestors, from past lives. And some will also want to be more independent at this time as well. So that can cause maybe a break in a relationship because you want to be more independent. Or if maybe you can find someone who allows your independence as opposed to maybe you didn't have that before. Many different ways this can go. Jupiter will be in Bharani nakshatra and is represented by the yoni. So we'll give birth to a lot of new things in our lives. And it's about birth, death, transformation, regeneration, because it's the female reproductive system. So it's ruled by Venus and it can go to extremes. So we could see massive shifts because Rahu is in Aries right now, and financial gains. This could also mean losses depending on your chart. And if it's losses, it's because a change has to occur in order to put you in the right direction so you can birth something new. So it will be a positive change ultimately in the long run. This could mean a literal birth of children. This could also mean a soulmate relationship because Ketu is in Chitra, in Libra, and that changes your life completely because Ronnie is all about soulmates as well. It's also about meeting your dharma, but it's amplified with Jupiter there and with Rahu in Aries. This nakshatra is the doorway between worlds. It represents going through puberty. So that can be difficult, that can be confusing at times, but ultimately this leads to maturity. There can also be a lot of restraint, caution, jealousy, secrecy, forbiddance, sacrifice, sexuality, nurturing. This could be in your relationships, in your partnership. Now, Saturn is in retrograde in Shawtee. That's bringing out a lot of things that were concealed, that were hidden. This could be about health, the stars, space. July 3rd, we have the full moon in Purvashada, which is all about fanning the flames, concealing information. It's undefeated, so it's declarations of war. So it's great for something you want to start. It's success in the long term. Success can come to some of you that you've been waiting for a long time, or you can initiate something that will be successful in the long term. It's also associated with the oceans. Then we have a new moon on July 7th, which is in Purnavasu, which, like I said, translates to wealthy again. And I see this as a good one because it's a quiver of arrows, it's hitting a target, and Jupiter will be in the 10th house, giving a lot of opportunities to career and gains through service, and also through employment, will help with employment. So it's a power to gain and retrieve objects. And its main theme is triumph and renewal. So that will help a lot of people. Ketu will be going to Chitra. Technically, the true node will be going into Chitra on July 7th. It will already be there if you just go with the regular node. I have another video about that, like I said, but we're going out of Shawtee, so then Rahu will be less activated and then activating more of the Mars energy. So check where Aries and Scorpio is, where Mars is, where Venus is in your birth chart, and that will be activated. It can also bring together soulmates, karmic relationships from past lives, new beginnings of healing and health matters. We must be cautious not to be trapped in the illusion, because Ketu's illusion, Chitra's illusion. We have to use our higher mind during this time. Some people will be completely awakened, some will go back to sleep. Don't get trapped into the illusion, desire, or ego. Bring the magic, but stay grounded. This will activate the illusion of health matters as it aspects Rahu and Jupiter in Aries and Saturn in Shawtee. So this will bring up the truth from the pandemic, and some relationships may have to end due to disagreements and arguments, because it'll be also, for some, an increase of Mars energy. Ketu acts like Mars. So there could be an increase of that. So that's just a bit of what I see happening in July. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.